In this video, I'm going to show you 7 simple editing techniques that I use to create high quality YouTube videos, even though I have no background in content creation or video editing. And number 7 dramatically increases my watch time. So if you're looking for a video editing tutorial for amateurs by an amateur, this is exactly what you're looking for, so stick around. Hey, welcome back. My name is Dom and I run the Datapreneur YouTube channel. I use video content online to sell other people's products in exchange for commissions. So if you want to make a little extra money online by making videos about other people's products, consider liking this video and subscribing to the channel. I do new videos every week. But first, let's cover the obvious. First off, to create these kinds of videos, you actually have to sit down and record the video. Shocking, I know, but you'll be surprised how many people actually skip this step. But assuming you did that already, in order to give your finished product the best chance at being great, you have to start off with quality audio and video inputs. After all, you can't polish a turd and there's only so much editing you can do and only so much audio you can clean up in post. If you want to learn how to get high quality audio and video inputs, I actually have a video. I'll post a link right here that'll show you how to get that. The next thing that you're going to need is some sort of editing software. Now, there are free softwares out there like OBS Studio and Kdenlive, but those are professional level softwares. And for a learning curve, they have Mount Everest. I tried using both of those when I was first getting started, and I was so intimidated by that software, I didn't record anything for a month. So instead, I actually found Movavi. I did a lot of Google searching for some beginner-friendly software, and Movavi seemed to fit the bill. It's a basic software that includes screen recording. It's geared more towards the casual content creator, and it's what I use to make all of these videos that you're watching on my YouTube channel. I paid $80 for it one time, and it includes lifetime updates. So now that we've got high quality audio and video inputs, and we also have a way to cut and splice and put everything together, let's get into some simple techniques that can make your videos much, much better. Now, this first technique may sound incredibly obvious, but so many people get it wrong, including myself. And it's that you don't have to memorize your entire video script before recording. And yes, you need to use a script. Instead of trying to do everything in one take, do it one line or two at a time and cut out the dead space while you're editing. It's important to remember that nobody cares if your head jumps a little bit while you're in frame. They're not watching your videos for the cinematic quality, unless that's the type of content that you want to make. For most people, they want to be watching because either they want to be entertained or they want to learn something. Here's what I normally do. I'll read the first line of the script, then I'll pause, look at the camera. Look at my second line, memorize it, and then read the second line to the camera. All right, so let's show you how we actually achieve this technique. Right now, I have my raw video. We are here inside of the Movavi interface. What we've got right now is we've got my recorded video, and we've also got the audio waveforms underneath it. So what we'll do here is we'll play back the raw audio, the raw video. Technique that we want to talk about here is jump cuts. Now, jump cuts are like the video equivalent to underlining a word or phrase. Now, right now we have the dead space. It's fairly simple. It's fairly easy. If you want to emphasize something you said, obviously we missed a take there. If you want to emphasize something that you said, all right, so now that we have a lot of dead space that's here, we're going to go here, go to the end of one line, underlining a word or phrase. Select everything, we put a little cut there, and then we come here. If you go right to the beginning of the next line, give a little cut, select here, and we just delete the dead space, and now it's going to flow pretty much naturally. Finding a word or phrase. If you want to emphasize something that you said, just crop in a little bit closer with, and that's how you edit the dead space out of your videos, and you can do your YouTubes one line at a time. If you can master this, you're ahead of 80% of content creators. The next technique that we want to talk about here is jump cuts. Now, jump cuts are like the video equivalent to underlining a word or phrase. If you want to emphasize something that you said, just crop in a little bit closer without any warning. Do you see what I did there? Here's the same clip without the jump cut. If you want to emphasize something that you said, just crop in a little bit closer without any warning. If you notice there, the jump cut just adds a little bit of dynamicism to the video and makes it a little bit more entertaining to watch. All right, so to do a jump cut inside of Movavi, it's a fairly simple process. We're going to go back and look at a normal clip of video. Now you can go mild or wild with your cuts. Okay, so now we've got one line that I'm going to show you, and then we're going to zoom in because we want to change it. Mild and wild are going to be two different levels of jump cut. So what we're going to do here is we're going to come in and select just those 2 words that we want, mild and or wild. Now you can go mild. I'm going to have to zoom really far. This is going to be a difficult cut to do. It's only 1 word. It's not a whole phrase. You can go mild or wild. Okay, so it seems to be here. We'll start with this or wild. We are going to select. We're going to select the video track, give a cut there, or wild with your. And then we're going to go cut there because I think that's the end of wild. Wild with. And now we're going to come in here. Go mild or. You can go mild. I think mild starts here. So now we're going to go mild or wild with your cuts. Okay, so now that we've got it cut in the right spot, we're going to go here, select the actual track. In Movavi, we'll come here for our crop, and we'll do just a mild. We'll cut down, and then we're going to make sure that we center it. That's going to be cut number 1, and then for the next one, we're going to come in here, crop, but we're going to bring it in a little bit closer. We're going to go pretty aggressive on this one. You'll probably never use something like this, but this is just kind of to prove a point. Apply that, and now we're going to do this. We're going to play it back again. Now you can go mild or wild with your cuts. And that's how you make a simple jump cut inside of Movavi. Now you can go mild or wild with your cuts. However, I try to avoid super nauseating jump cuts myself, or else it becomes kind of nauseating to watch. The next thing I want to talk about here is transitions. Now transitions are very simple to add, but they're pretty hard to get just right. Now in order to make scenes flow like the chapters in a book, I'll use different transitions for different things. But keep in mind, I only use a handful of transitions and I don't overdo it. The first transition I use is a fade to black transition. This is the simplest one of them all. If I'm at the end of a chapter, I'll use a fade to black transition to finish off the thought. It looks something like this. What it does is it ends the thought in the viewer's mind and it moves on to the next topic. That's because I'm sitting at my computer. My scene in my background never changes. Because of that, I use the fade to black to help distinguish between video sections. All right, so adding a fade to black transition is fairly simple inside of Movavi. So right now, we have our normal, 2 cut video clips right next to each other. Changes. Because of that, I use the fade. And there's where it is. So to add a fade to black, we come over here to the transitions tab. I have it favorited. I don't remember what category it came in, but if we basically just take our fade to black here and just drag it between whatever 2 clips that we want to play. We'll just use these 2 here and it will pop up there on the screen. Then we just double click and we can see how long you want that transition to last. So if you want it to last 2 seconds, my background never changes. Because of that, I use the fade to black, or you can have it only go, say, a real short and make it only go half a second. So if we go here, a short little half-second transition. Because of that, I use, and that's how you do it. It's very simple just to add a fade to black. Now, if I want to add a fade to black transition like this, that's a little bit longer and that's a little bit more complex. All right, so in order to add the longer, fade to black with a caption transition, first thing we're going to do is we're going to start with the 2 clips, a little bit more complex. And then we're going to come up here to where the little file import little plus folder is. Click on that. And then in here, Movavi actually has backgrounds that you can add and kind of make your own scenes with. So what I do is I grab the basic black background, grab it down here, put it between my 2 scenes that I want to make the transition to, and default is 4 seconds, as you can see right through here. I'll generally make it about half, make it about 2 seconds. You can make it as long as you want. And then once I have that, it's going to look something like this. Plex. It's very basic. There's no kind of fade. So what I'll do then is I'll take the fade to black that we normally do and put 1 on either side. I'll make them typically 1 second. So now what we've got here is we've got a scene that fades. Complex. And then we fade in. Now, to make the caption, I go up over here to the Captions tab, select the simple text, and then I drag it right about somewhere after the fade. Enter my title here, whatever I want it to say, and then drag this right to the point where it's at the end of the screen. And then we have a caption that looks something like this, a little bit more complex. And that's how you do the fade to black with a caption transition. Now, if I'm making the transition between having a full face video and going into screen share mode, I like to use the zoom in, zoom out transition. I use this transition because it makes things just a little bit more entertaining to watch, and it makes for an easy cut between my face and the computer screen. The next transition that I use is the page turn. I like to use the page turn transition when I'm going between web pages on my computer screen, where I'll use the zoom in or zoom out if I'm going between camera and computer. If I'm going from website to website, I'll use the page turn, again, to make it just a little bit more entertaining to watch. It also helps to cut out some typing, some loading screens, and also some errors that I make while I'm making the video. For instance, if we were over on Target's website and then I wanted to switch over to, say, Amazon's website, I would use the page turn to show the transition between the two sites. Now, if I really flub a line or I can't quite get a transition to go cleanly, I'll use what's called the wipe transition. So what this does is this actually wipes one scene over another, and it makes me just kind of appear blurry for half a second. If you see that I use this transition, it's generally because I made a mistake and I really can't correct it. Now, captions are great if you want to add just a little bit extra info onto the screen, and Movavi makes them very, very easy to do. Let's go take a look. Okay, so adding captions into Movavi is very, very simple. So for instance, down here, you've got your film preview, you've got your video track, your audio track, and then up here is all your title track. If we kind of scroll up here a little bit, you can see where you can add your titles in. So if we take a clip that doesn't have any titles. So for instance, there's me giving myself a note, so I need to put a screen share in here. To add titles, we go into these little T's here, and then now Movavi has tons and tons and tons of titles. I've sifted through them. I've found my favorites. If you've noticed the video, I like using the fly-in text, which is obviously what it is. It kind of just flies into the screen. So what to do that is you kind of drag it down and then just drag it right down to a start point where you want to make it in the video. Let's just go right here. Now it's going to bring it onto the screen. You're going to write in what you want. We're just going to call it title text. And then now what you can do is you can drag it around the screen where you actually want it to be. So let's say we want to put it up here in the upper left. What we can do now is we can actually affect the speed of the fly-in. I like my stuff to fly in pretty quick. So we'll go in here. And then the text, we'll select all the text, and here's where we can select our font. I'm a big fan of Open Sans. It's very easy to read. We'll go through there, select the color that we want. Let's make this a green for now. And that's right through there. Now to affect the duration, if we go in and we play it, you see it fly in there. But if we wanted to start at the beginning of that clip, all we have to do now is just kind of drag to where we want it to go and then click and drag the end. And now it can be a short little fade in. And just like that, it works exactly the same with any of the different caption styles in Movavi. It's all the same process. So now let's talk about normalizing your audio levels. For example, when I'm recording on my Pixel camera versus when I'm recording with my Movavi software, my audio gets recorded at two different levels. What I do is I use the normalize function to bring those levels and make them the same. To show you what I mean here inside of Movavi, I've got my clips here that I've recorded with my Pixel and my clips here that I've recorded with Movavi. Here's a screen record clip that I want to bring in to my video. I drag it down. It's going to place it between the two. And let me just cut it so that you can hear the audio right away. Let's cut that there. And now watch the difference in the audio. Try to get them as close as you can first. Okay, so to add captions in Movavi, it's very simple. Do you hear the difference in the levels there? So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to select the audio track, come up here to the adjustments tab, and click on this little checkbox that says normalize. What that's going to do there is that should bring them to the same level, if not very, very close. Get them as close as you can first. Okay, so to add captions in Movavi, it's very simple. So do you notice how it's a much closer bit in the audio? Now it's not quite there, so I'll come up here to the volume tab, and now I'll just play with it till I get it close by my ear. I don't think I'm ever going to get it exactly right, but if I add that up 10% in volume, as you can first. Okay, so to add captions in Movavi, it's very simple. And there it is. Now I've got my two audio levels exactly the same. Feel free to use this if you don't have your inputs quite right, but don't rely on it to make a good video. Try to get them as close as you can first. Now, the question that I get asked the most is how do I get my face in the bottom doing a picture-in-picture while I'm recording my screen? And that answer is very, very simple. I just use Movavi's screen record software. When I run the Movavi screen record software, it'll record my external camera, my external microphone, my computer's audio, and my computer screen all at once and put it into sync so it makes editing very, very easy. To demonstrate what I mean, I'm going to show you a screen record clip that I've taken and I'm going to add it to this track. So you've probably noticed this before earlier in the video, but if I take my screen record clip and bring it in, it has those 4 tracks already in sync, already recorded all together. So I don't have to worry about syncing up my video with my audio. I have the input, let's kind of go over here. I have the input from my webcam, the input from my external microphone. This is the computer audio, and this is everything that's going on my screen. And all it's going to do, all it does is that it just plays everything back in sync in real time, and it makes it really easy to edit. Now, the last technique that I want to share with you, and what my single greatest contributor to watch time, is the addition of background music. I want you to find a piece of music that's instrumental, copyright free, and just kind of grooves and play it in the background of your videos. Just make sure to keep it low so it's not distracting. What this does is it keeps people engaged and they don't really know why. If you listen real close, I just stopped the background music. Does the video all of a sudden feel boring? It almost feels like something's missing. Somehow, for some reason, the addition of background music makes something that's boring entertaining. And now I've brought the music back. Doesn't it make a huge difference? But there's a couple things I want you to know about music. 1, don't use copyrighted music or YouTube is going to flag you. Go to the YouTube creator library and you can download all kinds of copyright-free music, and you can even filter by mood. 2, don't have it too loud or it overpowers your voice and distracts and ultimately takes away from the video rather than adding it. What I like to do is I like to play it on a larger external speaker and not on my computer's little internal speaker. You'll get a much truer representation of how your video sounds to the viewer. You also want to pick something that's going to be kind of an endless loop, nothing that has very, very defined sections. This way you can loop the music over and over and over again, and your listener can't really tell the difference. And here's how I add it. So to add background music inside of Movavi, again, this is assuming that you've already gone through the YouTube creator library, found yourself a good piece of music that you want to use in all of your videos. I have found one right up here. All right, so that's the music that we're going to use. It's just kind of an endless loop of beats. It kind of has a groove to it. It has the right mood that I'm looking for. So obviously we don't want that to add that too loud over the video. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to go in all the way back to the beginning, and I like to start my music after my intro. Wherever you want to start your music is up to you. So essentially, though, what we're going to do is we are going to add another audio track, because right here, we don't want to add it over our vocals. So we're going to grab our music up here from the top, and I'm going to add it just after the break here. And now you're going to see it in there. Now what I also want to do is I want to unlink this track, because I don't want it to actually link to any of the video clips. Then what I also do, you see this dead space here on the end. This is going to be different for every song. What I'll do is I'll just kind of cut this off here, just so that it kind of keeps the loop and it's going to end there. But now this is what it's going to sound like at full volume. Hey, welcome back. My name is Dom and I run the Datapreneur YouTube channel. I use video. Obviously that's way, way, way too loud. So again, this is gonna vary based on the song that you choose and the volume of your audio inputs. What I like to do is I like to add it somewhere down around between 5 and 10% depending on the video, and I just kind of use my ear. Hey, welcome back. My name is Dom and I run the Datapreneur YouTube channel. I use video content. Still a little bit loud, so I'll kind of come down here. Let's try to play it 6%. Let's see how this sounds. Hey, welcome back. My name is Dom and I run the Datapreneur YouTube channel. I use video. Perfect. So now what I'm going to do, now that I have my right length, I have my right volume, what I'm going to do now is I'm going to copy this, just a simple Control-C, and then I'm going to select the end here, and I am just going to copy this over and over and over again, so that it loops throughout the whole video. So there you have it, guys, a basic tutorial on video editing so you can take your new YouTubes to the next level. I hope you learned something here, so now it's up to you to go out and make some content. And if you made it this far, don't forget to subscribe. Hey, thanks for watching. If you liked what you saw, hit the thumbs up button. That way YouTube will show you more of my videos. Be sure to hit that subscribe button and turn the bell on so you'll get notified as soon as new videos get released every week. If you have any questions, drop them in the comments and share this with one friend. And if you want step-by-step instruction over 15 days, check out my link in the description for the Online Business Builder Challenge.